Today's lesson is all about writing equation of a circle and determining the center and radius of a circle. This is quarter 2, module 8. First, we need to recall the definition of a circle. A circle is the set of all points x and y on a plane having the same distance from a fixed point called the center of the circle. The distance between the center of the circle and any point on the circle is called the radius, which is represented by r of the circle. Now we also discussed the distance formula. The distance formula is used to find the length of a segment connected by 2 points, say for example point A and point B. So supposing the coordinates of point A is x sub 1 and y sub 1, and point B is x sub 2 and y sub 2, then the distance d between point A and point B is d equals the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus 1 or minus y sub 1 squared. Alright, suppose we are given the graph of a circle. We want to find the length of the radius r using the distance formula. Okay, now we have here the coordinates of the origin, which is 0 and 0, and then the coordinates of point on the circle, which is 2 and 2, or which are 2 and 2, and we want to find the length of the radius r. So the distance formula, if you are going to recall, distance or d is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 square plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 square. So from that, we need to represent the coordinates with x sub 1 and x sub 2 and y sub 1 and y sub 2. Assuming this is x sub 2 and this is y sub 2, and assuming this is also, or this is x sub 1 and y sub 1, then we can substitute this in the formula. By the way, pwedeng baliktarin ito, pwedeng gawin mo itong x sub 1, pwede itong gawing y sub 1, at iyon ang x sub 2, at yun naman ang y sub 2. But in this case, I represented 0 and 0 as x sub 2 and y sub 2 respectively. So from that, let us try to substitute. So we are given 0 minus x sub 1 natin is 2. So 0 minus 2 square. Plus y sub 2 is 0. So 0 minus 2 square. This will be equivalent now to 0 minus 2 squared, or you can simplify first the expression inside the parentheses. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Then you need to square. Same with this. So you are given negative 2 square. But we know square of negative 2 is 4. And of course, the same with this expression. So this is also 4. And 4 plus 4 is 8. So you are given square root of 8. But please take note that there is still a perfect square factor of 8 that can be simplified. For example, this will be equivalent to 4 times 2. Okay, so 4 times 2, we choose this one because 4 is a perfect square. So from that, we are given the distance is, square root of 4 is 2. And then itong sa loob, just copy that, but you need to enclose that, or it would be under the radical sign square root. So therefore, the distance between, the distance between the origin and then this coordinate will be 2 times the square root of 2. But since we are talking about the radius, we can just substitute d with r. So r will be equivalent or equal to 2 times square root of 2. So this is now the length of the radius. Now you can change this to decimal if you want by using calculator. But this is now the exact answer for the length of the radius. Okay, so let us try another example, but this time the center of the circle is not located at the origin. Our first example is the center is at the origin. This time, as I've said, the center is not the origin. So, asan yung center natin? Ito yung center natin. Ang coordinates niyan ay 1 and 2. And then this is another point on the circle. And the coordinates is -2 and 1. And we want to find the length of the radius r again. Okay? So, using the distance formula. Still, you are given d equals the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 square plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 square. Then we are going to represent 1 and 2 and -2 and 1 with x sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 1, y sub 2. So assuming we want to represent this as x sub 1, therefore this is y sub 1. And therefore this is x sub 2 and this is y sub 2. So pwedeng baliktad yan ha. So pwedeng x sub 1 yan, ito y sub 1, ito naman ang x sub 2, and ito naman y sub 1, pwede yon. So in this case, I just represented -2 and 1 as x sub 2, y sub 2 respectively. So we substitute that in the formula. So we are given x sub 2 is -2 minus x sub 1 is 1. And then you square that. Plus y sub 2 is 1 minus 2 squared. And we simplify the expression or expressions inside the parentheses. -2 minus 1 is -3 squared. Plus 1 minus 2 is actually -1 with a square. Then d equals, so ito po siya. -3 square is 9. -1 square is 1. So d equals square root of 10. But if you notice, yung 10, wala na po yan na perfect square factor. No, 10 is 1 times 10. And 2 times 5. So, wala ka dito makikitang perfect square factor ng 10. So, therefore, this will be our final answer. This is now the distance between distance or the length of the radius r. By the way, you can still represent d as r. So, this is r is equal to the square root of 10. Or you can change this into decimal if you want by using calculator. Okay, so how do we write the equation of a circle with the center at the origin? So ito po yung isa sa pinaka-importante, yung pagsusulat ng equation ng circle, given ka ng center or given ka ng origin and then point on the circle. Okay? So ito po, given the center is at 0, 0, and then we draw radius r. Okay, radius r, connecting the center to any point on the circle like point x, y. So this time, we are not given exact coordinates, okay, of the point on the circle, but we have the origin which is 0, 0. Okay. Now, then using the distance formula, we can actually find the equation of the circle. Alright, so how will we do that? We are going to use the distance formula again, but we represent this one as x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2. Okay? So, therefore, distance is equal to the square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Right. Using the given equation or figure, substitute natin yung x sub 2 which is 0. So 0 minus x, then you are given square. Plus y sub 2 is 0. So 0 minus y sub 1 is y. So you are given minus y squared. Then you are given, by the way, you can change d with r this time to represent the radius of the circle. So here, this will be equivalent to negative x squared plus negative y squared. Wala na yung 0. Inalis na natin yan. And we know, squaring a negative number will give you positive number. So this will be equivalent to x squared. Ito naman, plus y squared. Now, this can be your final answer, but the equation of the circle should not contain radical it can contain, but what I'm saying is the format should not contain radical expression. So what we are going to do is to get the square of both sides. Okay, square both sides. So this will be equivalent to r squared equals, and this one can be removed. Okay, you are given x squared plus y squared, or this can be equivalent now to x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So this is now the equation of the circle whose center is at the origin. Now how about if the circle has a center which is not at the origin? So ano yung gagawin natin? So tingnan natin yung graph dito. If you notice, this is the point on the circle, x, y pa din. But the origin is represented now by h and k. Okay? So, h ang na-represent natin, h and k ang na-represent natin dyan para magkaiba dito sa x and y. But definitely yung h is the x coordinate and k is the y coordinate. Now, we want to find also the equation of the line. So, to do that, we need to find the distance between the center h and k and point P, X, and Y, which is the length of the radius R of the circle. So this is our distance formula. So D equals square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. Okay. Again, we represent this one as x sub 1. If you want, this is x sub 2. But here, we are given x sub 1. Therefore, this is y sub 1. This is x sub 2. This is y sub 2. Then substitute here. We know this is the radius r. So you are given x sub 2 is h minus x. Then you are given squared. Plus, this one can be y sub 2 is k minus y squared. Okay? And after that, we can actually get the square of both sides. Okay, we can get the square of both sides. So you're given r squared equals h minus x squared plus k minus y squared. So this is now your equation. But in most of the books, pinabaliktad natin ito. Pwede naman yan. So therefore, our equation will be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So again, please remember that h and k is the coordinates of the center of the circle. So this is now your equation. Okay, so to recall, the center radius form or the standard form of the equation of the circle is given by x squared plus y squared equals r squared, wherein r is the radius of the circle and the center is at the origin or 0, 0. So yung letter B naman, this is actually the center radius form or the standard form of the equation of the circle if the center is not on the origin, or you can say h and k. So the equation will be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So examples natin, suppose you are given x squared plus y squared equals 9. We can say that the center is at the origin 0, 0, and the radius must be 3. Okay? Because here, if you notice this in the equation, this is r squared. So to get r, you are given r squared equals 9. And then you get the square root of both sides. Okay? So magiging r siya, but square root of 9 is 3. That's why the radius is 3. Okay? So here, this is also a center radius form, but the center is not on the origin. So paano natin makukuha yung center? The center is -3 and you are given, no. The center is +3 and -1. Okay? So this is +3 and -1. And the radius here is +2. Now the question is, how did you get -1? If you notice, this can be rewritten in the form x minus 3 squared plus y minus -1 squared equals 2 squared. Okay, 2 squared. Now, the center is h and k, so -3, so this is your h and this is your k, which is -1. And therefore, this is your radius. So another way of finding the radius is just get this. This is r squared equals 4. You get the square root of both sides. R equals +2. That's why the radius is +2. Another form of the equation of the circle is the general form. Ano po itong general form na ito? The equation of a circle in general form is x squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0, where c, d, and e are real numbers. So for example, you are given x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0. So in this case, if you notice here, the value of c is actually -6. The value of d, is -10, and the value of e is +18. Okay? So here, dapat yung coordinates ng x squared and then y squared should be 1. But sometimes, for example, yung number 4, you are given 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x plus 24y minus 36 equals 0. So you need to divide all this by 4 in order for the coordinates of x, the numerical coefficients of x squared and y squared respectively should be 1. Okay? So here naman, another form or general form is x squared plus y squared minus 8x. So nawala yung 10, yung y, tapos yung d, tapos yung e. It's okay. Okay, so number 3 example is x squared plus y squared plus 2y minus 3 equals 0. So wala naman yung cx or yung may x dito. Well, sa number 4 nga, sabi ko kanina, you are given 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x plus 24y minus 36 equals 0. So, kompleto siya. Kaya lang, if you notice, merong numerical coefficient na 4. So, what you are going to do is just to divide all the terms by 4. Okay? So, even here, the 0. So that it will be x squared plus y squared minus 4x plus 6y minus 9 equals 0. So here, this is now a standard form, x squared plus y squared plus cx plus dy plus e equals 0. Okay, so let us try to have an example. We want to expand the center radius form to general form. So in this case, this is a center radius form, di ba? Yung kanina na example. And then we want to expand this in order for us to change this equation in general form. So ang gagawin natin, we are going to use the polynomial or yung square ng binomials. So square the first term. So this is x squared. And then square the last term. So negative 3 squared is actually positive 9. And then double the product of the first and then the last term. So 2 times 3 times x is 6x. Diba? 6x. But since this is negative, so this will be negative 6x plus 9. Okay, so we continue here. So here, this is y plus 1 squared. So squaring binomials ulit. So y squared is y squared. Square of 1 is 1. And then, since this is positive, so automatically this is positive. Ito na kanina, negative, so that's why this is negative. And then 2 times 1 times y, so 2 times 1 times y will give you 2y. So 2y and then plus 1 equals 4. But you need to make the right part of the equation 0. So ita-transform mo ito dito sa kabila. Here, magkatabi dapat ang x squared and y squared. So x squared plus y squared. Tapos nauna ang x. Okay, yung cx. So this will be negative 6x. Sunod, ito naman, positive 2y. Then ito, 9 plus 1 is 10. But you need to transpose this. This is negative 4 equals 0. So therefore, you are given x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 2y plus 6 equals 0. This is now the general form of the equation of the circle using this center radius or expanding the center radius form of the given equation. Okay, so with those examples and with those forms of the equation, we can now find or apply finding the center and radius of the circle given kanang x squared plus y squared equals 25. So since this is in the form x squared plus y squared equals r squared, then this is actually a circle whose radius is at the origin. So therefore, the center must be 0, 0. And how will you get the radius? The radius is related to this equation, which is 25. So, eto siya. You can say that r squared equals 25. Then you get the square root of both sides. So, r squared equals, square root of r squared equals r. And then the square root of 25 is actually 5. Now, in squaring or in solving radical expression or squaring both sides, dapat plus or minus 5 yan. But wala naman tayong radius na negative. That's why we just choose or consider positive 5. Okay? So therefore here, the radius is equal to, okay? The radius is equal to 5. So this is now the final answer. Next, sabi dito, find the center and radius of the circle x squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 16. So the same process, this is in the form center radius. Okay, center radius. In fact, this can be rewritten in a form x minus 0 squared plus y minus 4 squared equals 16. So therefore, the center must be 0 and positive 4. Okay? And then the radius can be found by using equation r squared equals 16. You get the square root of both sides. So r equals 4. So therefore, the radius is equal to 4. So this is your final answer. Example number 3. O, ito yung medyo madugo. Okay? Pagdating sa example number 3. Kasi sabi dito, find the center and radius of the circle whose equation is represented by x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0. So ano yung gagawin natin? So from this, we need to group all the numbers or all the terms with x. So dito, magiging x squared minus 6x yan. Tapos yung y squared naman, igugrupo mo doon sa may y. So that would be plus y squared minus 10y. Tapos yung 18 mo, yung 18 natin will be transposed to the other side of the equation. So ito po ay magiging negative 18. So ano yung susunod natin? We are going to get the perfect square trinomial. Okay? So paano yon? X squared minus 6x plus blank plus y squared minus 10y plus blank equals negative 18. Kung ano itong inad mong blanco na yan, ganun din ang i-add mo dito. So, dalawang blanco, ito yung lalagay mo dito. So, paano yon? Paano natin ilalagay para maging perfect square trinomial ito? So, kukunin natin ito. Yung 6, just divide it by 2. Ang lalabas doon ay 3. Tapos yung 3, i-square mo lang siya. And it will give you positive 9. So, yun ang ilalagay mo dito. This is now a perfect square trinomial. How about this one? Ito, this is 10. Just get 10. Okay, just don't mind the sign. Yung kung negative yan, gawin mong 10 lang. Then yung 10 always divided by 2. Kagaya ng ganito, constant yung pag-divide natin ng 2. So meron kang 10 divided by 2 is 5. And then you get the square of 5. So 5 square is actually 25. So yun ang ilalagay mo dito. So you are given 25. So kung ano yung inad mo dito at inad mo dito, ganun din ang i-add mo dito. So 9 plus 25. So ano nang susunod natin? Ang susunod natin is to get the factored form of x squared minus 6x plus 9. Since this is a perfect square trinomial, ang gagawin mo, ito, lagyan mo na kagad ng square. Square root ng x squared is x. Square root ng 9 is 3. But since this is negative, so x minus 3 squared yan. So plus. Ganun din ang gagawin dito. Parenthesis with the square. Square root of y squared is y. Square root of 25 is 5. And then again, this is negative. So this would be negative. Equals. So ito naman, pag inad mo ito, negative 18 plus 9 plus 25 is just equal to, so this will be equivalent to 16. Okay? So this is now the center and radius of the circle. Actually, this is our final answer. Ito na yung final answer natin because ang sabi, find the center and radius of the circle whose equation is represented by x squared plus y squared minus 6x minus 10y plus 18 equals 0. By the way, find the center and the radius, meaning kailangan pa natin kunin yung center. Ang center niya must be negative 3 and negative 5. And ang radius naman can be found by equating r squared by 16. And you get the square root of both sides. So r equals 4. Therefore, this will be equivalent to the radius equals 4. So this is now the final answer. Okay, so let us try to have another example. We want to find the center and the radius of the circle whose equation is represented by 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x plus 24y minus 36 equals 0. If you notice, ang numerical coefficients ng x squared and y squared are 4. So we need to remove that. So 4x squared plus 4y squared minus 16x plus 24y minus 36 equals 0. So we divide both sides or divide all terms by 4 para maalis yung numerical coefficient na 4. So this will be x squared plus ito is y squared Ito is negative 4x. This is 6y minus 9 equals 0. Then yung kagaya ng kanina, pagsamahin natin yung x squared minus 4x. Tapos yung y squared plus 6y. Tapos i-transpose ang negative 9 sa kabila. So you are given positive 9. And then complete the square. So x squared minus 4x plus blank. Ito naman, plus y squared plus 6y plus blank equals 9 plus kung ano yung blank. Okay? So anong ilalagay natin dito? So you just get 4. So 4, i-divide mo by 2. Ang lalabas ay 2. Tapos yung 2, square mo, will give you 4. So yun ang ilalagay mo dito. Yung 6 naman, 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then yung 3, square mo, will give you 9. Therefore, you are given 9. And then add 4 here and add 9 here. So the next equation will be ito, ipa-factor natin. This will be x minus 2 squared. Plus, ito naman can be, ito yun, y plus 3 squared. Bakit ganun siya? Square root ng x squared is x. Square root ng 4 is 2. And then since negative yan, so negative din dito. Dito naman, square root ng y squared is y. Square root ng 9 is 3. But since this is positive, so this is positive also. This will be equivalent to 9 plus 9 or 9 plus 4 is 13. 13 plus 9 will give us 22. So this will be equivalent to 22. Okay? Then, what is the center? The center is 2 and negative 3. So kung makikita mo, ito, negative 2 yan, but ang kinuha lang natin, yung 2 dito. Ito naman is positive 3. Kuha natin negative 3. Because this can be written in the form y minus negative 3. Okay, so paano naman yung radius? The radius is equal to square root of 22. It's because r squared equals 22. You get the square root of both sides. So r equals square root of 22. That's why this is the final answer. Okay, so sometimes we are asked to write the equation of the circle in a certain form. So in this case, center radius form. Given ka ng center and then points on the circle. Okay, so what we can do here is we let h and k be equivalent to 6 and 7. Di ba? So yun yun. So from this, we can actually use the form x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So in this case, we can easily substitute 6 and 7 to h and k. So you're given x minus 6 squared plus y minus 7 squared. Our problem is the radius. Okay, so if you are going to graph this, this is the center 6 and 7, and then point on the circle can be assuming this is not exact, this will be 2 and 5. So we can find this. Okay, we can find actually the distance of the radius by using distance formula. So paano po yun? So itong ilalagay natin. So distance is equal to square root of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared. So we can represent this one as your x sub, pwede mong gawin itong x sub 1, y sub 1, ito naman x sub 2, y sub 2. And then you substitute that in the formula. So the distance is equal to x sub 2 is 2 minus 6 squared And y sub 2 is 5 minus 7 squared. By the way, d here can be substituted with the letter r for the radius. Should be 2 minus 6 is actually negative 4 squared, plus 5 minus 7 is negative 2, and then you square. So r equals the square root of negative 4 squared is 16, negative 2 squared is 4. So therefore, this will be r equals the square root of 16 plus 4 is 20. So hindi mo kailangan simplify ito because we are asked to find r squared. What we are going to do is just to square both sides. So that we are given r squared equals, ito, cancel mo na lang yan, we are given 20. So paano yon? Ilalagay mo na lang dito yung 20. So therefore, your final answer is x minus 6 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals 20. This is your final answer. So last example is how do we write the equation of the circle in general form if we are given the center, which is negative 5 and negative 4, and the radius of 3 units. So again, it's easily we can easily substitute this to x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. First, you know that h is negative 5 and k equals negative 4. So we just substitute here x minus h is negative 5. So kailangan i-enclose yan sa parenthesis. Plus y minus negative 4, then squared equals. The radius is 3, so you are given 3 squared. Then we need to simplify. X plus 5 squared plus y plus 4 squared equals 9, because 3 squared is 9. And then you need to square x plus 5. Use the square binomial. So square the first term, so x squared. Square the last term, this is 25. And then double the product of the first and then the last term. So 2 times 5 times x will give us 10x plus 25. Right? Then you are given, square the binomials again, square the first term, so y squared, square the last term, 16, and then 2 times 4 times y is 8. So you are given 8y. Then lagyan ng plus dito, plus 16, equals 9. Then pagsamahin yung, pagtabihin yung x squared plus y squared, susunod yung 10x, susunod yung 8y, plus, we know 16 plus 25 is 30 or 41. Okay, so you are given 41 equals 9. And after that, we need to transpose 9 to the other side. So we are given x squared plus y squared plus 10x plus 8y plus 41 minus 9 equals 0. So therefore, we are given x squared plus y squared plus 10x plus 8y plus 32 equals 0. Therefore, this is now your final answer. This is now in general form. Okay, so as your assignment or activity, I would like you to try this word problem. So Mang Cardo tied his carabao to a peg in the field. In the evening, dark clouds began to form and the weather turned bad. Consecutive lightning and thunder frightened the carabao, causing it to run in circles, straining its rope. In the morning, when the weather calmed down, Mang Cardo sent his grade 10 son to untie the Carabao. His son was surprised to see a perfectly formed circle around the Carabao's peg. If the circle formed by the Carabao's footprints is given by the equation x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 8y minus 119 equals 0, how long is the Carabao's rope if the scale used is 1 meter is to 2 units? So what you are going to do is to answer this problem, show the solution, screenshot or take a picture of your answer, and then send it to my messenger, personal message dapat. Okay, hindi doon sa group chat. So that would be all for this lesson. Thank you very much. You learned something. More assessment will be sent or posted in your group chat. Okay, and then you are going to answer those assessment. Okay, so kung gusto mong umangat, magma. Thank you very much and God bless.